Justice League. I don't know how framed that was, but this is my Justice League shirt I bought from Warner Brothers Studios. I had to put this and wear this one for the review of Justice League. This obviously follows the characters, the story of DC, the characters we know and love: Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Cyborg, Aquaman, and they are your Justice League. This movie follows on from Batman and Superman, the events that happen in Batman and Superman, with the Trinity, as they are called, coming together to defeat a villain, and then we're on the backlash of that, on the backlash of Superman's death. Obviously, I'm not spoiling that because that's Batman vs Superman. So this movie follows the story of the recruitment of the Justice League. This is something we've seen in comics and seen in the animation movies, and we wanted to see on the live action screen, and it has finally come. This is a big day, and I think it's been tarnished a little by the previous DCEU films. Now, I'll start off with what my thoughts about the other ones were, because I haven't reviewed any of those in a video on here. Batman Superman, I did enjoy. I think it does get slow and boring. Maybe that's why people do hate on the movie. I think it delivered, but it maybe could have been, you know, I just don't think it's awful, but I think it could have been a lot better. Suicide Squad, I think, the more you watch it, I think the worse it gets. On first watch, it was enjoyable. The more I watched it, the more I see it's just a sloppy mess. But then Man of Steel, I think, delivered in a nice start towards the DCEU, and Wonder Woman. I've talked about how much I love that movie in my review, so I have reviewed that one. But we finally get to the Justice League. We finally get here, and this is a movie that has been very controversial. Okay, my thoughts on the movie are very simple. This movie was what it needed to be. This movie didn't have to be the greatest thing of all time. As much as people want it to be, it didn't have to be. Because this is the setup for the Justice League. They didn't do a lot of solo movies. They did a few, but they didn't do many solo movies beforehand. They didn't do one for Flash, Cyborg, Aquaman, and Batman. Didn't get a solo movie building up towards the Justice League. This is actually the recruitment of the Justice League in a movie. And of course, it's not going to be the most great thing of all time, because I've got so many things to work out. Now, what this movie was kind of a fix and a correction of what they did wrong in Batman and Superman. They did it too long, they did so many side plots and intricate shit, and it didn't necessarily work. This one was very basic. They kept the plot: recruit the Justice League and stop Steppenwolf. And that was all we needed to see. And it worked. Honestly, you saw the side plots and the side characters with the Justice League members coming into play. Flash has never actually been in a fight before, so he's not going to be that dominant. Cyborg only just become Cyborg. Aquaman's never come out of Atlantis, really. So you got to think, how dominant can these people be, and how great is this movie going to be if they did it like this? Now, yes, they probably shouldn't have done this movie the way they did. They should have done the solo movies first, similar to what Marvel did, and then build up on this bigger movie. And they didn't. They had to catch up and went, okay, here's Justice League. And honestly, it worked out. They had a lot of fun with this movie. This movie's story, again, is very basic, but I think it works. The villain of this movie can be tarnished a little, but I don't think the villain needed to be good. I don't think they needed to have a dominating villain in this movie, because it kind of took away from the rest of the movie. Now, one of my friends after the movie goes, oh, wouldn't it be cool if they had Darkseid though for the Justice League? I said, no, because it's the first Justice League. They're not going to come in as a team, and, you know, you're not going to step onto the court and dominate a team, you know, a championship contender when you just rocked up. You've got to have time to develop. You've got to have time to build as a team and as the Justice League. And they did, and that's what this movie was. I think it worked fine. Again, the side characters, the side plot were the characters, and I think it worked. The characters in the movie, I mean, Ben Affleck continues to be the best Bruce Wayne and Batman that I've seen, in my personal opinion. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman is phenomenal. I won't say how much or what role Superman has to play in this movie, whether it's flashbacks, dream sequences in the movie. I won't say that, but he continues to be a great Superman. Hats off to Henry Cavill. Aquaman was really good in this movie. I was really impressed with Jason Momoa. He was really good on screen, and he held his own for a character that a lot of people necessarily don't like. Flash was definitely a comedy relief character, but definitely a bright and more uplifting comic book Flash. And Cyborg actually impressed me of how good he was. It's Ray Fisher. He hasn't done many stuff. I don't think he's done anything actually like this thing. And he did step it up. So I definitely think they have premise to build on now. They have a team developed together now. They have characters developed together now. And yes, the movie was very CG heavy. You can expect that in a superhero movie. Yes, the movie was very basic. it did have, I think, music that worked, and you know, sometimes it necessarily didn't, but I think for the most part the soundtrack was good. And I think people can hate on this movie and say whatever they like about this movie about how much it's making, but globally it's making a phenomenal income. So don't panic. I expect to continue seeing DCEU films for a very long time. I think they are getting better. I mean, Wonder Woman was the first dominant solo movie we saw. I think this movie was a good time. It wasn't phenomenal, but it was good enough to continue people coming back to watch, and definitely stepped up from what Batman and Superman did. I'm giving this movie a B minus. Again, guys, sorry this movie review is a little late. I planned to do this straight after, but I kind of came back, went straight to this movie, then I was trying to do some other films of America, and I wanted to get them, you know, out of the way first before I started reviewing again. But I am reviewing again, so keep up to date with all my reviews because they're coming out quick, probably one a day for the next week or so. A lot of filming I'm doing, and a lot of videos coming at you quick. Thank you guys for watching. You guys know what to do to keep coming back. Press the subscribe button. You can like, you can comment, but of course, have a good one.